So that Arjuna's condition of despondency is the highest point. And so completely shattered he is physically and emotionally that he is only an anatomical structure with no human qualities in him at this moment, as though he is sleeping, as though he is dead within. He protested, not knowing what he is talking. I shall not fight this war. According to me, it is immoral. I have nothing to gain out of it. I don't want the kingdom and the wealth and the power and the prowess that can come out of it. After killing all my kith and kin, and feel that it is better that they kill me than I kill them. I shall live in a begging bowl in hand. The beggar's bread I shall eat. I don't want a kingdom. This kind of a philosophy or pessimism as a maximum, and the final point was that he said, I shall not fight. Man, when he is face to face with the great problems, very often becomes mentally thus broken down, and his entire competency, efficiency, everything goes away. And he says, I can't fight. I won't fight. This situation comes to every one of us at one time or the other. It is at such moments that the philosophy in life should give us the nerve and the courage to face the challenge. No challenge in the outer world is without a solution if your mind is at peace and quiet. But when the mind is agitated, you have no efficiency. All your knowledge is lost. You don't know what to do. You are a mindless individual. This is the condition into which Arjuna went, and Krishna, Sanjaya says that Eva Muktva, having said this much, that I shall not fight, Rishikesham, to whom? To the Lord of the senses. So even though he has now broken down in this condition, he has surrendered himself to the very Lord of the sense organs, the very vitality of life in the Lord in the heart, the very enlivener of everything. To him I surrendered. Who? Not a stupid man, a man of action, who is sleepless when he is taken up a job in hand, consistent worker. Nayotsayed Govindam Muktim Tushnim Bhavuva. He entered into a Tushni Bhava, a vegetable like he just said. Continue.
तमुवाच ऋषिकेशः प्रहसन्निव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तमिदं वचः
Tamuvaja, to him he said, who? Rishikesh, the Lord of the heart, who is now present amidst them as Lord Krishna, who is none other than the Supreme Reality, which is the enlivening touch of life in every bosom. Rishikesha said these prahasanniva, as though smiling. The problem is great. The patient has expressed it, and in complete despair and despondency became a vegetable, a thoughtless entity. And the Lord, prahasanniva, prahasan, smiling, as though smiling. This happens. When your father or an old man in the family is very seriously sick and feverish, You call the doctor to visit your patient at home. As the doctor enters the room, his face is rather confused. There is no smile in him. Why? It can be serious. It can be typhoid, pneumonia, and the man is 80, 85. He is a bony carcass. He has no strength to resist it. It can be very serious. And he examines the patient. And when he has examined the patient, his diagnosis is complete. When the diagnosis is complete, he knows that it is not anything very serious. It is only malarial, and that for that the specific cure quinine is in his bag, and therefore he, as though smiling, he washes his hands and comes into the room. Every member of the family is there anxiously looking at the face of the doctor. And the doctor smiles at everybody. And you want to chop him into pieces and make a chutney out of him. Why? My father is so seriously ill and he is smiling. He is smiling because he has diagnosed the disease. He has understood it is not very serious. And whatever the disease is, the specific cure is already in his bag. Quinine, 3 injections, and the man will be all right. Think? In the same way, Krishna first was confused. Why is it that I have never seen you in this condition? Why are you getting into this attitude of neither a man or a woman? As a eunuch? Aren't you ashamed? And all that. Now that the student has himself told him that all my confusion is because the very people against whom I had to fight are Dhritarashtra's children, my own first cousins. How can I fight with them? He is looking at the problem from his egocentric standpoint. He is keeping his relationship with these people, and therefore he becomes incompetent to face the challenge. He has forgotten the higher standpoint, that a war is or a battle is only clashing of ideas and ideals. It is not individual to individual. I am not coming with a knife bitten between my teeth and going up the water pipe to steal into the room of the Duryodhana, and while he is sleeping I am taking the dagger and trying to... That is called murder. Here is not a murder. It is the 2 ideas and ideologies are clashing. Ideas have no hands and legs. Those who believe in an ideal supply the hands and legs. This is how the march of progress and civilization has taken place in the world. He has not that larger view. He is caught up in the web of his own selfish, egocentric, small standpoint. When thus he has analyzed it, Prahasaniva, as though smiling, meaning it is not a problem at all, I will cure him, he is only need a little re-education, and once he has gained his mental poise, he will himself discover that this is not a problem at all, that he should face this challenge. Senayor upayor madhye, between the 2 armies, Vishidandamidam vachaha, he said these words to that despondent entity where between the 2 armies. See the contrast. In the Upanishads and in all other scriptures, it is always the teacher talks to the student in a monastery, a protected area, or in the Himalayan valleys, in the peaceful, serene atmosphere. Here it is in the din and roar of war, where the first arrow has not been shot. Everybody is smelling fear, sweating fear, in that excited, agitated situation, which is the worst situation that man can ever conceive. Think. Man, war itself is terrible. And that civil war is more tragic. The worst of situation in which one can face himself is the civil war. And Arjuna is in that civil war situation. Even in that situation, if Krishna can prove to you that you can live the higher values of life, you and I have no excuse to say that, Swamiji, we are all grihasthas, we are all householders, we have got a husband and wife and children and all that, and in this modern world, a modern market of competitiveness, how am I to live the vital life, the spiritual life? Therefore I must renounce everything and run to the jungle. Krishna, on the other hand, is a revolutionary idea. That no, wherever the Lord has placed you in life, face your own challenges. That very field is your spiritual field. You, by facing your own challenges in that correct and right mental attitude, you are improving spiritually. You are purifying your mind. You can improve and reach the highest. Think. Until the mind is purified thus, there is no meaning in retiring to anything, because you will not have the poise of contemplativeness. This is the idea. So then here, smilingly, with a confidence that I will help this guy out of this confusion, he said these words to that despondent, desperate warrior in the midst of the battlefield. Continue.
Sri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri Bhagavan
Ashocyananvashocastvam Prajnavadamscha bhashase Gatasuna gatasumscha Nanu shochanti panditaha.
The entire first chapter and the first 10 verses of the second chapter are all preparation. The scenario, the background. You are introduced to the personality of Arjuna and his problem. This despondent, desperate warrior, the man of action, who has become incompetent to do anything because of his own mental confusion and not because of the situation around, has been brought in front of us. And now Krishna starts his re-education. In the following about 9 or 10 verses, he starts arguing with him that the situation outside should never disturb you. In this chain of arguments, you will find how he starts with the highest standpoint, a philosophical standpoint, mystical standpoint, and says that there is nothing for you to fear. The student is not able to understand because he is not at this moment in a very intellectual poise and ready to understand or try to rationally think, because he is so confused. But he starts with the highest. Not that the student has understood anything about it. Then he comes down one step, one notch down. A little more grosser argument. Then he comes down to still, and he comes down to the grossest argument. In all these arguments, the conclusion is that there is no reason why man should get really broken down because of the pressure of the situations around. If you have got the mental poise in yourself, no situation is beyond you. Play your game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So what? The game is important, and not the winning and the losing. And enjoy the game. Make life a sport, not a tragedy, not a calamity, not a despairing situation. To the quietened mind of faith in himself and in the higher, no situation is so despairing. So he starts with the highest. Ashochan anyoshojasto. You are weeping over people over whom ye need not be wept. Shoka, sorrow. You are unnecessarily worrying over yourself. You are grieving for those who don't deserve any grieving. You are worried that these people will die. Yes, it is true. They will die. Whether you are in this war or day after tomorrow, they will have to all die. Why are you weeping over it? Ashochananyashojasto prajñāvādāṃsca bhāṣase. And you are talking as though you are a very wise, erudite scholar. You are quoting the Shastras, that why the war should not be, and the morality will go, and the various, the rituals in the society will go away. People's faith in the higher reality will go away, and therefore the character will go, and everything will be shattered. You are talking as though educating me, as though you are a great pandit. But you are weeping over things over which no intelligent man need weep. Why? Because the Atman, the self, the enlivening essence in every one of us, the Om, is permanent, eternal, immutable, God. Functioning through our equipments of body, mind and intellect, it appears that we are a limited consciousness, limited entity. And this individuality is never permanent. The body can never be permanent because the realm of the body, mind and intellect and the rest of the world of plurality are all together constitute Einsteinian world of time and space. Conditioned by time, they are all constantly in a state of flux. Nothing is permanent. They come and go as bubbles come in waters and burst. But the essence, the reality is one and the same. Ashochananyashojastu. But prajñāvādāṃsca bhāṣase. You talk as though you are a great pandit, but you are behaving like a stupid ass. Weeping over, these people will die, as if you thought that they will be permanent, is it? Are you permanent? How can you expect the cousins to be permanent? If the war is not there, let the peace come. Do you think that all of them are going to permanently remain here in this world? Ashochananyashoja. Gatasun akatam sumscha. Nanushojanti pandita. Those who know Pandit, really wise and intelligent people. They never weep over. Gatasun, people who have gone. They don't weep over them. Agadan sumscha. There are only two types of people in the world. People who have already left. And what about us? Not yet gone. Not that we are permanent, we are here. No! We are going. They have gone. The gallons of water in the Ganges that have flown down, and new gallons of water are coming. This is a flow. In this flow, which gallon of water is constantly going to be staying with you? It is a flow. Where are your great-grandfathers? Where are the grandfathers? Where are some of the fathers? All gone, gone. You can sit down here and worry about them and weep over them, no harm. But you are wasting your time. Why? While you are weeping for them, you are also going towards the same. Just as you pushed your grandfather and great-grandfather and the father out for your accommodation, your children and grandchildren are already pushing you. It is a stream. So look at the whole picture of the stream of life. There is nothing for you to weep over. They have gone, bye-bye. And we are going. And new people are coming. Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome for the new situation. And tell the children also, you also will one day go, never mind. There is nothing in coming and going, is the flow of life. But without looking at it in the larger scheme, you are looking at, I and my wife will be permanent. We will permanent. Nothing will happen to us. No, you can never build a fortress around you. This is a universal principle. You are all conditioned by time. In time, everything must be constantly in a state of flux, change. Today we are all here, tomorrow we are not here. But the world will not be empty. The newcomers will come in. It comes and goes. What is there to weep over? Gatasun agadansumsya. Those who have gone, and Krishna is not saying that those who are staying here. He's on the other hand, he says, those who have gone and those who have not yet gone, agatasun. Not yet gone means going, but not yet gone. It's a question of few more days. You have been given a chance to live. And one day, gone. Give me a glass of water, honey. By the time honey comes, you are gone. This is all a bubble like. How long? It all depends. Some of them, as soon as the bubble comes, burst. Some bubbles, grow fat and eat up other bubbles and become big and use wonderful, wonderful biography. What a great man. This bubble was just so small and now it has grown so much. Before you can finish the biography, gone. So what is there? Live vitally every moment that you are living, without being cowed down by the situations around. Be a master of situations and live. Gadasura Nani Shochanti Panditaha. Real Pandits. Real Pandits means wise men who have thought over the matter, who knows what life itself means, without any attachment. They have, with a scientific detachment, have watched the procession of life, the dynamic flow of life. They don't weep over things that have gone or things that have not yet gone. And you are weeping over, these people, my own people, they will all go away. If my own people must permanently stay, if everybody wants my own people permanently stay, what will be the condition of the world? Because the new ones will be coming. Where will be accommodation? Even today the world's problem is the population is increasing. Population increasing means the proportion of dying and birth is not equalized. More people are being born, less people are dying, therefore the problem comes. Supposing nobody dies, what will be the condition? Even as it is in the seashore on Sundays, you have no space to sit down. If for 1 year nobody is going to die, everybody will have to stand up only in the sun bath, standing, because there is no question of lying down. Population increases, The world is surviving because others are decently getting out, so that you may have the place for some time, not permanently. And you have to quit for your children to playground. That's wise people doesn't complain. But not that Arjuna understood it. You have understood. That is because there is Swami Chinmayananda between Krishna and you. Arjuna had nobody there. He only heard that. He must have thought that this man is talking nonsense. Gatasu nagadansusya nani shochandi pandita. Continue.
Natvevaham jatu nasam.
Natvevaham
Natvam neme janadhipaha.
Natvam neme janadhipaha.
Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha. Sarve vayamatah param.
Why do you say that you need not worry about? and weep over those who have gone and those who are going, not yet gone. Why do you say that? Heartless man, why are you saying like that? It is from the standpoint of the reality. The essence in us, the touch of life in us, never goes. It is permanent, eternal, immutable. It is God, the highest reality, in which each one of us have taken the different forms. Just as the waves come and die away, but the ocean remains. This oceanic water itself is playing as the waves. So generation after generation, various forms of plant, animal and human come and play in this world, gathering and harvesting its own experiences and disappear. Yes, names and forms will never be permanent, but that which is enlivening them all is permanent and eternal. Natvevaham jatu nasham. Never was a time when you and I were not here. You and I, not as this form and shape, but as their essence. Never was a time when we were not there, neme janadhipa, nor these janadhipaha, these various kings, numberless kings who are now getting ready, when both the armies, they were all here in the world. It is for their evolution that they come in different forms to exhaust their various desires and passions, according to their attachments. In and living through these names and forms, they evolve and go beyond the mind and intellect to reach the highest. There was never a time when you and I were not there, nor these kings. And nachaiva na bhavishyama, nor will there be any future time when you and I and these people will no more be there. The life is eternal. Its manifested expressions are different. Ocean is permanent, but no waves can permanently remain. Waves after waves come and dance, grow up, roar and thunder and clash among themselves, and in the smithareen they go and they disappear. But never is the ocean surface without waves. In the same way, the names and forms have come up. You at this moment we are here. Tomorrow we are not here. But there is never a time that you are no more existing. Natveva bhavishyama sarve vayamata param, all of us. All these members of the great kings who are standing now in the army, all these will never be permanently staying in this form. They will die. But that doesn't mean that they have gone. Where to go? They will permanently be with. In essence, it will be always there. Your bangle can become the ring can become the bangle, the bangle can again become the earring. But the gold is the same. You can melt one and make another, but the gold is never lost. It's the same. But its shape, form, performance, name are different. In the same way, the names and forms may be different, but the essence, the reality is one and the same. From that standpoint, there is never a time when you and I were not here. Never shall time come when we will not be here. In essence, we will be always, ever present, ever, everywhere. Dehinosmin.
Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Tatha dehantara praptihi.
Dhirastatra namuhyati. What are you talking? You are talking against something that we are all experiencing. Where is my grandfather gone? My father whom I adored and worshipped and revered, where is he now? Similarly, my wife died or my son died. So many people are dying and we are bereaved and we mourn over them. And you say that you should not mourn because the reality is permanently there. What do you mean? Now the teacher tries to explain it to a rational, intelligent, thinking man, Arjuna, who will not accept anything because of his blind faith, who is a questioner, who is a skeptic. As a modern youngster he is giving the real argument. Dehi no asmin, asmin dehi, this individual body, the indweller in this body, you, the mind and intellect. You, the individuality who is temporarily at this moment present in your body. The body is the hutman in which you are living. You are tenants, temporary tenants in that body. And in the body, who lives? In this body, I live. And I cannot live in your body. If anybody wants to meet me, they will have to come to this body and knock me. Hey, Swami. And then the Swami will answer. If you go and knock anybody and say, Swami, Swami, he will say, what is Swami? Shut up. There is no Swami here. Isn't it? Swami is not living in you. Swami is living here. Thus, each individual lives in his own body as a tenant. And the landlord is a very strict fellow. Rent is not paid every week. No. He doesn't believe that you will... he has no belief in you that you may not pay at the end of the week. Then, every day, 3 times you pay. You know that car park, you go and feed every half an hour you get to go and feed. Similarly, every 2.5 hours you have to pay your rent if you want to remain in this body. No, I can't go on paying it. All right, die. Why? You will be ejected out of the tenement. You have to pay your rent 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch and dinner. Not only that, the landlord will not look after the maintenance of this house. You have to look after it. Think of this situation. You have to look after its maintenance outside and inside, and you pay the rent regularly. It's automatic. It will demand. You can